Hey guys, welcome to another episode of New Zealand's biggest gap year, where a couple of years ago Robin and I did 365 days of 365 activities in New Zealand, and we make sure that every day we bring you something to do in New Zealand. Except for maybe today things don't fully go to plan, as we're going to find out as we head up Mount Taranaki.
So I spent about the last 3 days trying to pick the most perfect day to go on a hike on Mount Taranaki. I just can't wait. This mountain looks gorgeous.
As we're making our way up the mountain, we get past the tree lines. That is when the wind hits us. Up here is a totally different story to what we were having in Stratford this morning.
So we decided to take it easy. We go to a really small track, which is the Stratford Plateau track, which basically is halfway, not even a third way up the mountain, and you have a great lookout over the whole Stratford area, and also the mountain in the background. However, as you can see, the mountain is covered with clouds, so
But we know from here that there's literally a 30-second walk to a viewing platform. If we can just go and have a look at this platform and see the view very quickly, then we can sort of go back to the camper van and reassess the situation. Because literally, as we're on the viewing platform, snow is starting to pelt at our face in high winds, which is very uncomfortable. We have our buffs all around our faces, our hats pulled down, and we're like, oh my god. But in a way, it's quite funny being in that sort of crazy weather. It's like when you're a kid and you're on the playground and there's massive winds and you just get your coat and put it around your head and you make a parachute for yourself. It felt like that. It was like, oh my god, this is crazy. It's like, how can wind get to this speed?
We are literally battered by the wind and the hail and the snow and that hike's not happening.
We come to the conclusion we should probably leave Mount Taranaki for the day.
Mountain safety is not something to play around with, right? If you don't have the proper gears, if you have not notified anyone where you're going, if you don't have a correct map and compass of the area, don't adventure yourself in the mountain where you have no visibility, it's hailing and you're just not prepared for the conditions. It just looks like it was beautiful weather and it's turning really bad, so it doesn't look like it's actually a safe thing to do for us.
We played some board games. We bought an $8 game of Travel Cluedo. I've only played Cluedo once in my life. So when Robin is saying like, woo, I won a Cluedo, I'm so amazing. No, you're not amazing, Robin. You just play against people who have no idea what they're doing. So you're probably shit. Probably. Most definitely, you're probably shit.
I'm kind of upset, kind of pissed. I wish I had a warm cup of tea to make me feel better. Oh, it's just hot water.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, although not the whole thing went to plan. Obviously we didn't get to do the walk that we were hoping to do, but that's the thing about New Zealand, and especially if you're going onto sort of mountainous areas where the elements can be pretty dramatic in places. It's more important to stay safe than to go off into bad weather and end up getting yourself in trouble. So I think at least we can set a good example there, and we decided like it wasn't probably going to be good. It wasn't going to be an enjoyable hike, but it probably wouldn't have been safe for us to start walking around the top of a mountain. So yeah, that's why we decided basically to come back down and clean the camper van instead. So we got a couple of comments and questions. We got Unofficial Bucket List Family saying, that's too bad, but better safe than sorry. Hope you guys try again. To be honest, we actually haven't tried again since that time a couple of years ago. So we definitely would like to go back and and see, like, actually do the walk we were meaning to do. And Anna Witter says, Mount Taranaki demands respect, but when she gets it, she will give you an amazing time. Well, yeah, definitely. We've had, in our other videos, you will see that we've done some more walks around Mount Taranaki, which have been really amazing. And the good thing also about Mount Taranaki is that there's a lot of walks sort of in the forest, so it's nice and sheltered, and they make a really good alternative. We also got a question of Dave saying, how do I approach planning a trip around the weather in New Zealand? So that's kind of a little bit of a struggle with New Zealand, because there is a famous phrase here saying that New Zealand experiences 4 seasons in one day. So, you know, you could be out walking and it could be nice and sunny, and then the next thing you know, it can be just torrential rain and wind that's like super cold and stuff. So yeah, the weather can change a lot in New Zealand, and that's kind of what it's like being on an island nation like New Zealand. So so planning around the weather is really tough, but I think if you do have a particular activity that is weather dependent and you really want to do it in New Zealand, then it's best to sort of stay in that area for maybe at least 2 or 3 days before moving on to the next place. For instance, that's an approach a lot of people take for wanting to do the glacier hikes, particularly around the west coast of the South Island. If you want to do Franz Josef or Fox Glacier, for instance, they're very weather dependent, but it's best to actually be in that area for a couple of days, or maybe even 3 or 4 days, just to make sure that you get a good weather day in, or, you know, you're more likely to get a better weather day in to do those activities. Alright, if you do have any questions of your own, make sure to put them in the comments section below. Otherwise, you can join us for our live Q&A session every single Sunday at 8 AM New Zealand time right here on YouTube, where you can come onto the live chat and ask your questions directly to us. Otherwise, head to nzpocketguide.com, where we have thousands of articles about travelling in New Zealand, and you're likely to find the answers to your questions there. Alright then, that's the end of this video. See you for the next one.